To grasp the concept of symlinks and hardlinks, it's essential to familiarize ourselves with the fundamentals of the Linux file system. We are already acquainted with directories, which serve as containers for files and subdirectories. In addition to storing the file names, directories also keep track of inode numbers. An inode is a data structure that holds crucial details about file or directory, such as its inode number, file type, permission, owner and group information, file size, timestamps, and pointers to the specific disk blocks where the file's actual data is stored. Allow me to demonstrate this in practice. I will create a file. This file will have an unique inode assigned. We can get the file inode number by executing ls-li. Let's list our file content. Then enter the file system debugger to look at the information that is stored in the inode. You can find here the inode number, file type, permissions, user, group, timestamp, and at the bottom the list of extents. In other words, group of disk blocks. Let's dump the content of our block. Here's the content of our file. We can visualize the Linux file system as a three-level hierarchy. At the top level, we have directories that contain file names along with their corresponding inode numbers. The inode table, which resides in the second level, stores all the metadata associated with each file, including permissions, timestamps, ownership details, and pointers to the disk blocks where the actual data is located. Lastly, at the lowest level, we have physical disk itself, which contains of blocks that hold the data of the files. For example, file 1 has inode number 5. In the inode table, there is a mapping that an object with inode 5 is stored under disk blocks from 1 to 3. Next, file 2 has inode number 6, and in the inode table, the entry points to blocks 4 and 5 on the disk. Folder 1 directory has inode 7, and in the inode table, it points to block 6 on disk. A symbolic link, also called symlink, is a special type of a file that acts as a pointer or reference to another file or a directory. Let's say we have link 1 symlink in our directory. It will have its own inode, let's say 8. In the inode table, it does not point to the disk, but holds the path to the target. When you follow link 1, the file system will look up the path it points to and use these paths to find the corresponding inode of the target, even if it's on a different file system. Let's create a symbolic link called link1, pointing to the test.txt file. Let's check the inode numbers. The inode numbers for the original file and the symlink are different. It's because the file and the symlink each have their own entry in the inode table. If we look at the symlink's inode via the file system debugger, we'll discover that the symbolic link is pointing to another file and not the disk. If we read both the test file and the symbolic link, the content will be the same. There is yet another concept called a hardlink. A hardlink is an additional name for the same file. When you create a hardlink to test.txt, it essentially creates another directory entry, let's say link2, that references the same inode as the original file. From a user's perspective, both the original file and the hardlinks behave as independent files with their own file names. Any changes made to the file content through the one name will be reflected in all the other names, as they are essentially referring to the same underlying data. Both the original file and the hardlink point to the same inode in the inode table. Let's create a hardlink to test.txt and check its inode number. Inode numbers are identical. Let's list the content of the test.txt file. Now the content of link2. Content is also identical. Let me modify link2 file. Now list the content of link2. We see it got changed, but also content of the original file got changed. Now something that will show you the real difference between hardlink and a symlink. I will remove the original file. Let's try accessing link2. It still works. Why is that? We had one inode pointing to the data on disk and two files pointing to that inode, test.txt and link2. We've just removed one reference to the inode, that is test.txt, leaving another reference that is link2 untouched. Basically, the file is still there until you remove all reference to it. The ls command will show you a number of hard links or references to a file. Let's check what happened to the symlink. Symlink no longer works, as it was pointing to test.txt and that file name is gone. In order to create a symlink, you use ln-s. Then provide the target location followed by the symlink name. You can create a symlink to a file or symlink to a directory. If you look at the symlink, it has L as the first character. You can use symlinks like regular files. Let's print content of the original file and later content of the same file but using a symlink. Symlink to a directory works the same way. Let's list the content of folder 1 and later list the content of the same folder but using a symlink. Let's now explore a few practical use cases for symbolic links. First, it allows you to simplify file organization and share the same file across multiple users. Instead of duplicating files in different locations, you can create symlinks to the original files, making them accessible from multiple locations without taking up extra space. Let me create two directories, folder 1 and folder 2. Then create a test file. I will create symbolic link in folder 1, pointing to test.txt, that's in our home directory. Let's try to use our link. Works. I will create yet another link to the same file, but this time inside folder 2. Let me try to use that link. Works. Just to sum up, we did create two symbolic links. Link 1 inside folder 1 and link 2 inside folder 2. Both links are pointing to the test.txt file in the home folder. Users can access the file directly from those folders, making it more convenient. Another use case is to shorten long paths. Let's say you need to access a file located deep inside a directory structure. I will create one. You can create a symlink and access the file from your home directory. That is much more convenient. Very common use case is application versioning. Let's say you have an app folder and inside you have subfolders with your application. You can create a link called latest that points to the folder with the most recent version of the application. All your scripts will access the application via the latest link. If you want to deploy a new version, let's say my app 1.3, you stage it first, then you remove the current link that is pointing to my app 1.2 and create a new link that points to my app 1.3. All your scripts continue to work as they always access the application through the link and not directly. If for some reason you need to fall back to the previous version, you just remove the link and create a new one pointing to the previous version. Similar use case is for configuration files or directories. You can create a file or folder with the configuration that will be consistently used in your application. If you want to change the location or version, you just update the symlink and don't have to change anything in your application or scripts. Few things to mention about symlinks. You can create a symlink to a symlink that in turn points to the target file or folder. That's called a symlink chain. You can have a symlink that points to a non-existing folder or file. It will be dangling until you create a target file or folder. Symlinks can be made between different folders and files located on separate file systems or disks. If you remove a symlink, it does not affect the original file. Let's say we have two directories named folder 1 and folder 2. Inside folder 1, there is a symbolic link to a file inside folder 2. If we copy folder 1 to folder 3, the symbolic link will be copied as well. If you'd like to copy the file it points to and not the link, there is a -L option of cp command. This time, test.txt was dereferenced and the real file was copied, not the symbolic link.